Have you ever snapped at something stupid and it wasn't even about that moment? You're a good dude, man. You're not a ticking time bomb. You're just feeling powerless and nobody ever taught you how to deal with this emotion. And I used to be the same way. Always angry with everything, thinking everybody around me was the issue. But one day I came home and I snapped at my little boy. He was only 5 and he looked at me and he said, "Dad, why are you always mad? We're good boys." And man, that hit home and I finally did something about it. Hey fellas, listen up. If you're angry all the time, don't worry, so was I, until I learned this. When I really started to learn what was going on inside me, I realized that it was the pressure versus the processing. I was always suppressing my emotions, and I'm sure you're doing the same, instead of just dealing with them. The thing about pressure, I want you to think about a beach ball. You blow it up, you fill that thing up, it's ready to float. You go to the beach, you push it down in the water, and you hold it down. Eventually, that thing's gonna pop up, and it's gonna come up ugly, and it's gonna come up at a time that you probably don't want it to. So when that explosion happens, when that ball pops out of the water, people that are gonna take the damage are usually the ones closest to you. And that example I gave you was exactly what happened there. Now, anger is not the problem. Anger is just the smoke. The smoke is what we use to conceal ourselves and run through it so that other people can't see it. So you're throwing down a big smoke grenade so people can't really see, and maybe you can't even see what's going on. The real fire is burned in your emotions, like stress, guilt, shame, fear, and unprocessed grief. Now, and like I said before, emotional suppression leads to an emotional explosion. And the people around you are the ones who are gonna get that shrapnel, right? You absorb stress at work, you absorb stress at home, you absorb stress with your own health, with your own fitness, with your own issues, what you got going on. And you hold it all in. And when the silence speaks, I'm telling you fellas, it usually yells. Now here's a little bit of science behind it. I'm no doctor, but this is what I've read and this is what I've learned. Men are way less likely to seek help, especially type A's like you and me. Suppression, it leads to outbursts. And studies show with unresolved pain leads to a 30% increase in aggression in dudes. Now the worst part is people sometimes identify with angry. I'm just a ticking time bomb. I go from 0 to 100. That's all nonsense, okay? And that's all stuff that is not something to be proud of. You can use anger as a weapon, right? You can train harder. You can dominate in business. You can stay sharp under pressure, but often that weapon is wielded in the wrong direction, right? You confuse tension with control. And when anger becomes your identity, calm starts to show itself as what you see as a weakness. And that's just the absolute opposite. Leaders stay calm during chaos, and you need to lead all the things in your life. Anger is just the armor, but what's under the armor is often the problem and very, very weak. Grief, fear, and shame that you've never been taught how to face. Now, hidden emotions always equal to leaking control. You don't blow up at the actual moment, you blow up with all the pressure that you've stored inside leading up to it. You try to control the outside because you cannot manage the inside, and that's what leads to this explosion. Now, sure, don't get me wrong. I've been in some crazy situations, and anger can be a tool, but it's not a trait. Anger can be a tool, but it shouldn't be a trait. It shouldn't be your quality. It shouldn't be the thing that you rely upon to succeed. It's not your identity and you don't need to suppress it. And just like any tool, any weapon, any part of it needs to be trained. Now practice some tactile control, some willpower. You can't just white knuckle this. You need breath work. You need awareness drills. And you need to regulate your nervous system. Start with your breathing. Breathing is so key to me. And a lot of these videos that I talk about, breathing is something that I use to manage stress, to manage anger, and to develop nice plans and rehearse how I'm going to deliver them and how I'm going to execute. Remember box breathing? If you don't, check out my video from a few weeks ago. But in short, remember, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. There's also the STOP method. STOP being the acronym. STOP. T, take a breath. O, observe. And P, process with intention. Before you react, stop. Journaling, whether it's writing it down or doing a vlog, get it out. Start to recognize patterns. The more patterns you see, the more you can come up with a defense strategy against them. And of course, this is one that I very much love, is use body scans. Sit in the quiet. Once you've traced the patterns and you start to use body scans where you sit in the quiet and you practice your breathing, you can actually start to smoke out tension early and stop it before it happens. You can turn anger into precision. Slow it down, strip the confusion, and direct it with intention and accuracy. Anger can fuel you in some ways if you stay in control. I like to say that anger is an emotion, and any emotion we can deal with like a slingshot. When it's at its fullest, we pull that elastic as far back as possible. And now when I choose to let that go is up to me. Is it gonna be against an enemy? Is it gonna be to take down a tactical operation, a plan that I have in place that's gonna allow me to execute it? Or am I gonna wield that and get somebody that I love with it? Or just as bad, maybe even worse, turn it back towards myself. Now remember, as a leader, show control, and controlling that anger will help to build confidence in those around you, the confidence they have in you, and the confidence that you have in yourself. Power is effective when it's focused. Now, I really want to say, like, I keep talking about anger and these different emotions as super negatives, but really, we want to control it over suppress it. You can't stop yourself from feeling that emotion. How you're going to use it, how you're going to control it is much more important, how you're going to deal with it, right? Because suppression leads to leaks and damage, right? Think of yourself as a machine. Where that pressure, where that bolt is loose, that's where it's going to escape, and that's how you break down. Be clear and direct with your intention. Ownership over your emotions equals clarity, and it allows you to be clear and intentional and accurate with your energy, your tone, your pitch, and your pace. I'll tell you, I have been in some crazy situations. I've been around some great leaders. I've been a sub leader. I've been a follower of many great leaders. And what I have seen is that calm under fire is the true leadership. That knowing when to unleash and when to hold back, when to let that chain run and when to pull the dog back is going to really gain that trust in the people that love you the most, that need you the most. What real power looks like is calm under fire, calm during chaos, and then knowing when to let that emotion out, when to deliver fire, and when to keep the calm. That allows you to lead with presence. That allows you to lead with true authority. And I know that some of the greatest leaders I've followed have demonstrated that in the most chaotic situations you could ever imagine. Now remember that anger isn't the energy. Acknowledgement of the emotion is. Breathe, trace it, and choose your response wisely. Now, if you want, you can download my free Clarity Drill worksheet or go all in and join the 16-week Aggressively Masculine program, where I will teach you to control your anger, to control your emotions, and to deal them out with precision and accuracy. Your anger, in many ways, is your power, but it needs a mission and it needs a plan.